guys, and welcome back to a new One Piece arc. Now I'm just gonna go and get my volumes. Also, Happy New Year. Yes, it's February, but you know, Happy New Year. It's 2026, that's crazy. But with One Piece, where I just left off was the Thriller Bark arc, and the next arc is the Sabaody Archipelago arc, which I believe is these 4 volumes. And we are on volume 50. Volume 50! So today, well, this evening, what we're going to be doing is reading the whole of this arc. I have set some time aside, and this is all we are going to be focused on tonight. What I'm going to go and do first is finish volume 50, and then I'm going to go and have my dinner, and then we'll try and get the next couple of arcs finished before it's time, because I want to try and get this finished tonight. So let's go. Okay, so I'm just stopping for a second because I am literally 2 pages in, and like obviously there's a lot of mysteries to do with like the Florian Triangle, and just like when the Straw Hats have left and they're talking about like just telling the tales. Why is there a gigantic figure with eyes shining? What is that about? It's a bit creepy. What is that about? That is volume 50 finished. I really like the touch of them being halfway around the worlds, like in volume 50. I mean, I know there's more than 100 volumes, but can you imagine if it was well-rounded like that? That would have been amazing if it was just well-rounded, but obviously that isn't the case because I know the story is still going. So what they've been doing is the crew have come obviously halfway, and they're reminiscing on the past and like where they've come from, yada yada yada, and they've been looking for an entrance to the Fishman Island, which Nami talked about with Lola, and she was like, how do we get there? So they've been in the submarine and they can't find it. So this Sea King, I think it's like a sea rabbit, I don't know if it's a Sea King, it's just like the sea rabbit, tries to attack them. And obviously Luffy follows them up from the submarine, and Luffy punches it, and he spits out a mermaid called Cammy and a starfish, and she talks about like, oh, thank you for rescuing me, we can have some octopus fritters. The start of the plot is Luffy wanting food. It's very, very that is very Luffy. It's just very Luffy. But it looks like she works as an employee for this Hachi. Isn't that the octopus dude? Pretty sure. But that he's been kidnapped by these flying fish riders. So Cammy was like, oh, we need to go and rescue him. And Luffy's like, we're quite strong. So they go and follow. The fish help them with the direction of an arrow. So they go and follow them. And then they see the flying fish riders. And they've spotted Luffy. And then the volume ends with this kind of like, he's like dressed as a knight. And he's saying, the very pirate ship that I've been looking for that ruined my life. So the flying fish, is he, because we've got Hachi from like Arlong Park, Arlong's crew, I'm wondering if he's from Arlong's crew? Because ruined his life. I'm curious. But that is volume 50 done. We've got 3 volumes left. I need to go and make some tea, so I might go and take a volume downstairs with me while I make my tea. I'm going to make pizza. So let us go. Pizza is cooking. We have volume 51 to contend with. So this is like, it's a different arc, I will say. It's very different from what I'm used to, but let's go ahead and start. Okay, yeah, it's Hachi. It's Hachi. But there's been a massive mistake that he thinks the Straw Hats captured them. But obviously Duval wants Cammy as well. So yeah, this doesn't look good. I'm halfway through volume 51, and can I just say, what on earth? It's the beginning of this arc. So you know, like the wanted poster for Sanji, it turns out like obviously they've got the picture from somewhere, and he's like, you ruined my life, and that's why he wants to attack the Straw Hats, and like Sanji goes kind of mental and crazy. sorry, it killed me reading it. But he like changes his bone structure and he's really annoying. This character's really annoying. Like I was completely wrong. I thought it was going to be something interesting. It was just kind of like a comedic thing. Oh well. So, but now they're traveling to Sabaody Archipelago. They've rescued Hachi, and I feel like there's gonna be like Hachi's asking Nami, do you forgive me? There's an interesting dynamic there. Like, do you forgive a person who was part of the crew that enslaved your village? It raises very like moral questions, but I'm wondering if that will be touched upon where she's like, I don't forgive you. Like, that's done for comedic purposes. I feel like there's a very moral question there, and I want to see that raised. Hopefully it does get raised. If it doesn't, you kind of missed an opportunity there. But they've gone to Sabaody Archipelago, and like obviously Marosa is like the world government headquarters. That's the only way to get through. But to get under the red line is where Fishman Island is, and that's to get the other side of the world, obviously around the red line. And the only way to do that is to go underwater. So they've gone all the way to the sky, and now they're going all the way to the bottom. And I really like the archipelago's design, like it's a group of mangroves, and there's like bubbles. But then I've ended on the chapter where Hachi says, "Don't shoot the world nobles," and it's like, we already know the government's corrupt. The world nobles are probably going to be even worse. So I'm going to go and finish this volume. Just saying, before I finish this volume, I have had Trafalgar Law for like maybe a chapter and I would die for him. I love him already. What an absolute intense volume. A lot of stuff has happened that I'm still trying to digest at the moment. Like, I feel like this is a chunky volume. A lot's happened since that middle bit. Like, Cammy got kidnapped and there's an auction going on. And obviously there's fishman racism. And this is like practiced in like this human trade, which is disgusting. I'm sorry, and like we've got the celestial dragons riding humans and shooting them but Zorro's just like, you know, completely disregarding the celestial dragons. Disregard for authority. I like it. And we've also got introduced to quite a few captains, like pirate captains. Like there was Bonnie, Kid, who is like got the highest bounty out of everyone, and then we've got Trafalgar Law. Oh, my heart is I don't know why, sometimes I just cling on to characters, but he has my, I'll see how it goes. But what I liked about when everyone's trying to get to the auction to rescue Cammy is that Kid says, I want to see how crazy Straw Hat is. And then he goes and punches a celestial dragon because he shoots Hachi, because Hachi says he wanted to make it up. Because he speaks to Luffy and says he wants to make it up to Nami. I was like, yeah. So he had a change of heart. The fact that he punched a celestial dragon, I was like, yeah, Luffy would do that. He has no regard for authority. Like, we've been warning not to cross them, so there is no coming back from this. I mean, they've already declared war on the government anyway because of Robin, but like this, there's no turning back after this. This is something that is like a turning point in the series. And you know, like, these nobles are descended from 20 kings and they don't want to breathe commoners' air, so they wear bubbles. Grow up. Honestly. Authority like that, it annoys me. But yeah, I'm curious to see where this is gonna go. I've got to continue. We are now on volume 52. Now, how are you gonna top the end of that volume? Let's go. Got to mention, what's also surprising is that one of Roger's first mates has been sold. I didn't even know like his crew was still around. Well, it makes sense from like perspective, but his first mate is still around, like the Dark King. I think like he probably sold himself, but he is the person that they needed. It's interesting. Oh yeah, not to mention, Ace has been scheduled for execution, so they're saying there's gonna be a war. There is so much going on. Like I said, this is a turning point. This definitely feels like it's going to be a turning point. I mean, even volume 50. Yeah, definitely a turning point. So obviously at the auction, Luffy, Kid and Trafalgar Law all team up to like fight the Navy and like they're seen as accomplices. And obviously that doesn't seem good. Rayleigh comes out and reveals quite a lot of stuff about Roger. Like Roger actually gave himself in because he didn't have that long to live. So the Navy kind of played it like they actually captured him, and it's like, yeah, that makes sense actually, because they like to exploit what they've done, and it's just like, yeah, okay. And then an admiral's come, Kizaru, and he is just attacking all the pirates, apart from a couple that have got away like Trafalgar Law. So all the ones that have been introduced, they've just been completely annihilated. And then we've got introduced to these things called pacifistas, which are based on Kuma, who is the warlord. And then Kizaru comes after Luffy's crew. What? And Luffy's like, we need to leave. He realizes they are evenly outmatched, and it's like, this is gonna be the stakes from now on. Like, the guys need to think. And then Kuma comes back and has sent, because obviously he can send people somewhere, and he's sent Zoro somewhere, and that's where the volumes ended. I don't have a lot of battery on my camera left, and I don't know if this camera battery has a lot of charge. So what I'm gonna do, because One Piece volume 54 only has, I think, is it only one chapter? Yeah, it's only one chapter, so I'm just gonna read it and then I will see you in a minute. And the arc is done. That last scene of like all the Straw Hats just being sent to who knows where, and Luffy crying, saying that he can't save his friends. Like, there is a lot of questions about why Kuma is sending them random places. Like, is he splitting them up for a reason? Is it to save them? Is it to split them up? Because Rayleigh does ask, Kizaru does ask him and say, what are you doing? He's like, I don't have to reply to the government. There is a reason he's done that. I'm curious as to why. And where the heck Luffy's gone. And where the heck everybody's gone. But yeah, I wasn't expecting them to be all gone. I was just thinking it was just going to be a few of them. But yeah, I think that is a major turning point of the story. And in terms of this arc, wow. Pretty good arc. Pretty good arc. A lot of stuff, a lot of world building, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things to process. And I've enjoyed it. Like, I've flown through this arc. Like, I've enjoyed it for it. Like, I mean, definitely enjoyed it. But yeah, like, they were having fun and now they're gone. And do you know what? I would be mad if that was the last chapter I read and I had to wait a week to read the next volume. Like, if I was like watching it, when did these volumes come out? 2009 when these volumes came out. So like, funny thing is, I was actually like 2009. That is when I was getting into anime and stuff. So it's like, yeah. I'm surprised. I think I'd heard it One Piece at the time, but I just didn't watch it. I was watching stuff like Fruit Basket, the 2001 version, because I grew up watching Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, but yeah, I just didn't really get into anime until I was like a teenager. So yeah, interesting. But yeah, definitely. If I was watching that in 2009, do you know? I remember seeing a One Piece clip a lot. I can't remember what it was. A long time ago. When people uploaded people and things in parts, but yeah, I was too busy watching Ouran High School Host Club and Fruits Basket, and not that I like to admit this, but Vampire Knight. All those shoujo animes that came out in the early 2010s. Yeah. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give a bit down below any thoughts that you had on this arc. I'd love to read them. Don't spoil anything as usual because I am reading my way through One Piece. I still have a lot of volumes to go for this one thing. And I will see you next time. Bye.